God is saying to you today, my beloved child, align your thoughts with positivity. Focus on love, balance, and harmony. 777. Spiritual enlightenment is within reach. Type 777 to affirm your connection to the higher realms. 888 Abundance is flowing into your life. Type 888 to affirm financial and personal prosperity. Just because another day has passed and your prayers remain unanswered doesn't mean that God isn't working in your life. Often, the greatest miracles occur behind the scenes, in ways we cannot immediately perceive. God is always at work, arranging circumstances, shaping hearts, and aligning everything according to His perfect will. Trust that every delay has a purpose, every silence holds a lesson, and every moment of waiting is a step closer to the fulfillment of His promises. Your prayers are seeds planted in faith, and in God's perfect time, they will bear fruit. Every prayer you offer rises like incense before the throne of God. He treasures each one, even when you feel unheard. Persistence in prayer is not about convincing God to act, but about building a deeper relationship with Him. It's in the waiting that our faith grows, our character is refined, and our reliance on God becomes more profound. Remember, God is never in a hurry, but He is always on time. His delays are not denials, but rather opportunities for you to trust Him more fully and to prepare you for the blessings that are on the way. There is beauty in God's timing, even when it's difficult to understand. Just as the sun rises at the appointed time, so too does God answer prayers at the right moment. He sees the bigger picture, knowing what is best for you and when. While you wait, He is preparing something far greater than you could imagine. Do not let the passing days weaken your faith. Instead, let them strengthen your trust in His divine plan. God's timing is never early and never late. It is always perfect. Hold on to that truth as you continue to pray, knowing that God hears you and is working everything out for your good. There are seasons in life where God seems silent, where prayers feel unanswered, and hope begins to wane. But in these quiet times, God is often doing His most profound work. It's in the silence that He draws us closer, teaching us to rely not on what we see but on faith alone. Like a seed buried in the ground, the growth is hidden, but it is happening. Your prayers are not forgotten, they are being nurtured in the soil of God's perfect timing. Trust that in due season, they will break through the surface and blossom into something beautiful and divinely ordained. Waiting is one of the most challenging aspects of faith, but it is also one of the most powerful. In the waiting, God is shaping you, molding your character, and preparing you for what lies ahead. Every day that passes without an answer is an opportunity to deepen your trust in Him. God is more interested in your growth than your comfort, and sometimes that growth requires waiting. But take heart, God is never idle. He is always moving, always working, even when you cannot see it. Your waiting is not in vain, and your prayers are not unheard. Trust in the process, for God is faithful, and He will answer in His perfect time. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, the assurance of things hoped for. When days go by and prayers seem unanswered, it's easy to lose sight of this truth. But remember, God's ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. He sees what we cannot see and knows what we do not know. Your unanswered prayers are not a sign of God's absence, but rather an invitation to trust Him more deeply. He is at work, weaving together a tapestry that is far more beautiful than anything you could imagine. Keep your eyes fixed on Him, not on the circumstances around you, and trust that His plans for you are good. Patience is more than just a passive waiting. It is an active trust in God's goodness and faithfulness. Each day that you continue to pray and wait is a testimony of your faith. It's a declaration that you believe in God's promises, even when they are not yet visible. Patience is the strength that carries you through the waiting, the faith that sustains you when answers are delayed. Remember, God is with you in the waiting, holding your hand and guiding your steps. He hears every prayer, sees every tear, and knows every desire of your heart. In His perfect time, He will answer. Hope is the anchor of the soul, firm and secure. When you are waiting for your prayers to be answered, it's easy to feel adrift, but hope keeps you grounded. It reminds you that God is faithful, that He has not forgotten you, and that His plans for you are good. Every day that passes without an answer is an opportunity to strengthen your hope, to remind yourself of God's promises, and to trust that He is at work, even when you cannot see it. Do not lose hope, for God is the author of your story, and He is writing a beautiful chapter that is yet to be revealed. God often works in the quiet places, in the stillness of our hearts, and in the moments when we feel most alone. Your unanswered prayers are not a sign of His absence, but rather an indication that He is working in ways you cannot yet perceive. Sometimes, God's greatest work happens when we are least aware of it. He is preparing you, shaping you, and aligning everything according to His perfect will. Do not lose faith in the quiet seasons, for it is in these moments that God is laying the foundation for the blessings to come. God's love for you is unfailing, constant, and unchanging. It is not dependent on how quickly your prayers are answered or how smoothly your life is going. His love is the foundation upon which you can build your faith, even in the midst of waiting. Remember that God's delay is not His denial. He loves you too much to give you anything less than His best. Trust in His love, and let it be the source of your strength as you wait. He hears your prayers, He knows your needs, and He is working all things together for your good. Hold on to His love, for it will never fail you. The waiting period is not wasted time. It's a season of preparation, growth, and deepening faith. God is faithful, even in the moments when you feel forgotten. He hears every prayer and sees every act of faith. The days that pass without an answer are not empty. They are filled with God's presence and His work in your life. Trust that He is faithful to complete the work He has started in you. Your prayers are not forgotten, and your faith is not in vain. God is faithful, and in His perfect time, He will answer. God has promised to never leave you nor forsake you, and He is always true to His word. Your prayers may seem unanswered, but that doesn't mean God isn't listening. He is with you, guiding you, and working everything out for your good. His faithfulness is your assurance that He will fulfill His promises. Even when the answer seems delayed, remember that God's timing is perfect. He is never late, and He is always working on your behalf. Trust in His faithfulness, and hold on to His promises, for they are true and sure. God is patient with you, understanding your doubts, your fears, and your frustrations. He knows the desires of your heart and the prayers you've offered in faith. While you wait, remember that God's patience is not a sign of inaction, but rather a sign of His love. He is waiting for the perfect time to answer, the time when His plans and purposes will be fully realized in your life. Do not lose heart in the waiting. God is patient, and He is preparing something beautiful for you. Trust in His timing, and know that His plans are worth the wait. When days turn into weeks, and weeks into months without an answer, it's easy to feel weary. But remember, God gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Every day that you continue to pray and trust in Him is a day that your faith is being strengthened. God sees your perseverance, your faithfulness, and your trust in Him, and He is pleased. He is your strength, your refuge, and your ever-present help in times of trouble. Keep going, keep praying, and keep trusting. God is with you, and He will answer in His perfect time. God's promises are your anchor in the storm, your light in the darkness, and your hope in the waiting. When your prayers seem unanswered, hold on to His promises. He has promised to hear your prayers, to be with you, and to work all things together for your good. His promises are true, and they are for you. Do not let the passing days weaken your hope. Let them strengthen your trust in His promises. God is faithful, and He will fulfill every promise He has made to you. Your prayers are heard, and your faith is not in vain. God is at work, and His promises will come to pass. 444. Foundation and inner strength are key. Type 444 to affirm your solid and unshakable base. 555. Change is coming, and it's time to embrace it. Type 555 to affirm your readiness for transformation.